Covering the Universal Orlando Resort for over 4 years, you are listening to the Unofficial Universal Orlando Podcast.
Hello everyone, this is Seth Kaburski, author of the Unofficial Guide to Universal Orlando, reporting from Universal Studios Florida, bringing you all the little things, our look at some of the minor changes that you may have overlooked around the Universal Orlando Resort recently. We're going to start out in Islands of Adventure, where the big news is the start of all-day technical rehearsals for Skull Island Reign of Kong. While the ride itself is the big news, you may have overlooked the mess tent, the new food and beverage stand right outside of the new attraction. It's home to Universal Orlando's latest signature drink, a King Kong banana icy drink, which you may notice is quite similar to the Banana Fanta frozen drink sold by Duff Brewery over in the Springfield section of Universal Studios Florida. However, I think the new King Kong drink is a little less sweet and has a little bit more of a natural banana taste. Try it yourself and see next time you're at the park. In other beverage-related news, the Coca-Cola kiosk near the Men in Black attraction is finally progressing in its rebuild. Vertical framing is now visible for a new structure. No official word on what exactly it will be or when it will open, but we'll be looking forward to that. Elsewhere, Secret Life of Pets has invaded both Universal Orlando parks. Over in Universal Studios Florida, the Animal Actors Show is now incorporating a preview of the film and a prize giveaway in its daily shows, and you'll find a digital photo booth outside of the Animal Actors Stadium. Over in Islands of Adventure, What's Am Out of You in Toon Lagoon has been turned into a Secret Life of Pets shop. If these are popular and the film goes well, who knows, we could be seeing a Secret Life of Pets attraction in the Universal parks in the not too distant future. Also going on in Islands of Adventure, over in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, we've noticed some brand new lighting and fabric has been added to the final 2 Dementor animatronics in the Forbidden Journey ride. Maybe this is a sign of future upgrades to bring Islands of Adventure's original Forbidden Journey ride up to the new version in Universal Studios Hollywood. And finally, over in Universal Studios Florida, we spotted some great new signs in the Williams of Hollywood prop shop that you can take home, such as authentic Halloween Horror Nights warning signs that were outside haunted houses, and even directional signs that still say Jimmy Neutron on them. The only thing you can't take home is the attraction height measurement stick, because I took that and brought it home with me. This is Seth Kaburski signing off. I'll see you again in a couple of weeks, and just remember, it's the little things that count.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 204 of the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Following on from our top 5 queues at Universal Orlando, we are continuing today with the top 5 worst queues at Universal Orlando. If you're a puss, Skull Island's probably on your list, but it's not here, folks.
All right.
He hasn't even introduced anybody yet.
Nope.
With me today, I've got Mr. Kong Dong himself. What's up, Darren?
What's up, Internet?
I've got Miss Tracy.
Yeah, just leave it. Hello, yes. We'll just leave it there.
I got you. And I got Mr. Jimmy Fallon dog, Mr. Lee Malaby.
Taking a blanket.
Hello, Hunter. Oh, you dug yourself a hole there.
Late nights with Jimmy Fallon.
Yes.
Okay. So, everyone, top 5 worst queues. You looking forward to it?
I am.
Yeah. I'm looking to make people mad.
I think this will be interesting. Oh.
Okay. I think we've got. Let us clarify real quick. Top 5 worst queues does not mean we do not like the attractions these queues are attached to.
No.
Nope.
It means that the queue is awful.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. So I think this week, how about we start? Lee, you always go last. So what we're going to do, we're going to go Lee, Tracy, me, and then Darren, I'll let you have the last one this time.
Sounds cool.
Right. My number 5 worst queue at Universal Orlando Resort is the queue for Ollivanders in Hogsmeade at Islands of Adventure.
Ooh.
Oh, I didn't realise we could do that. I've only been looking at rides. You didn't clarify. Right,
I said there was no clarification.
I did all rides too, so don't feel alone.
This is the first queue that we stood in when we came out to Orlando in 2013, and it was an hour and a half long in the hot, blazing sunshine that goes behind a strange little building and down a little alley, so you can't see anything. It barely moves. It is boring as hell.
It's brick walls, isn't it? It's grey.
You can kind of see the top of Hogwarts Castle for a little bit, but it just... it's horrible. And then they rectified it with Diagon Alley. Not that I've been through it. And then it doesn't get anywhere near the lines that Hogsmeade gets because of that. But it's just awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. That's a pretty bad line.
Keep talking.
No, it's your go now.
No, because I'm now to very quickly rethink.
No, you
because
have what
I'm
you
not,
have.
No, I'm not happy now.
Well, I'll jump in because I put this out on just to keep it talking for a little bit because Gregory commented on Twitter and he put the traffic lines going into the park.
Yeah, the entrance
The queues
line going in. Yeah.
The queues going through security at Halloween Horror Nights.
Oh god, that's the worst.
My least favorite queue is going through the metal detectors because they didn't theme them at all.
True.
Right. They could have put some Transformers junk on there.
Yeah, seriously.
That sounds wrong. Transformers junk. That's what put me off the movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and he also put anything closely followed by anything for the Harry Potter celebration.
Yeah. That is very true.
Huh. Right.
Go on then, Chase.
Huh. Sorry, I'm just quick running around the parks. I'm not happy with my number 5 now. I might change it.
Well, hurry up.
Darren, you want to go ahead and
Yeah,
go?
you do that. That's what I'm thinking. Because
Okay, here.
Lee could
How
be
about I
clear.
go? Let me go real quick.
Okay.
All right, this one's kind of a given. Storm Force Acceleratron. Most people don't even know that ride exists. The queue is awful. Skip it. Don't make it part of your day unless you like getting dizzy. Storm Force Acceleratron.
At least you get to watch the ride go. That's more than
Yeah,
what I can say
it's
for
more
some
like
of the other
just-
queues.
I have never seen a
true.
queue for that thing. I didn't even know it had a queue because I've never seen one.
Well, and it's just kind of like it wraps around the actual ride area.
Yeah, fair point.
But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
See, I
that's...
can't copy you now.
Well, you can, but it just looks like you're copying.
I know, but I'm going to get hate mail if I say what's really my number 5 here.
Go on then, Darren.
Okay, I'm going.
Yeah, Chase is still thinking, apparently.
Well, number 5, Gringotts.
What?
Oh.
Okay.
Well, it's fair
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
It didn't make it into your top 5, so... Go on
Yeah.
then, Darren, enlighten us.
Mainly just to antagonize people, but yeah, I would say there's a couple of elements that are cool. Like the elevator is pretty neat. I wish it was more than just the top little section of the elevator that has the screens on it for that. But the funneling after you get off the elevator is pretty terrible.
Yep.
I hate that. I hate going up the stairs afterwards,
Yep.
and I hate the wood paneled long hallways where nothing is happening.
No, I agree with that.
And the semi-required photo. At least the high pressure photo.
Yeah, and the extended queue is awful as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I understand it. I agree. Well, I wouldn't say it was my top 5 worst, but
Yeah.
I agree.
No.
It narrowly beat out Shrek on my list because at least Shrek has cool movie posters.
Oh, and there's some funny elements in the
Disney
queue as well.
jabs.
Right, so can I clarify that? Because for me, Shrek is a 2-part queue.
No, that's the pre-show.
That's a pre-show.
I would
So,
call it,
the
yeah.
same in The Simpsons. Once you're up and you've got all the things going, that's a pre-show. Is
I
it
would
then?
class that whole because you then go and queue again, so that whole thing is the queue in Simpsons.
Right.
But at least with The Simpsons, you get to watch Simpsons clips, which make it better than pretty much every other queue on
Yeah.
property.
We'll get there.
Right, okay, let me just go. So obviously that rules that one out because it's got an outdoor queuing bit and then it's got an indoor queuing bit. But it's the outdoor queuing bit that's really, really naff.
You're usually the most organised person on these
I've
things.
struggled with this. But then the indoor queuing bit, I don't mind, but then I don't like the ride.
The ride's got nothing to do with it.
No, I know. But if I'm not allowed to split the queue into two parts...
No, it's the whole thing.
All right. Then I'll have to go with Woody Woodpecker's Nuthouse Coaster.
Does that even have a queue?
Yeah, it's kind of just
I
like
don't
a path.
remember it.
That's it.
With him peeing in the bushes. Or
That was you.
I never peed in the bushes at Universal.
Yeah, that's going to replace what my other number 5 was. It's just...
What
It's-
was your number 5?
Not telling you.
All right, so it's still in there.
No, it's not. I'm not caught in controversy.
Okay. Darren has.
Yeah, Woody Woodpecker is just a slab of concrete.
Okay.
So, no, the other one, where in my other number 5 was because you stand for so long in it, my back kills me. But that's all I'll say.
Oh my God, I'll find out later.
I might be brave and say later.
All right. Going on into number 4.
It's me, isn't it?
Lee? Yeah.
Bringing up something that's already been mentioned, my number 4 is The Simpsons.
Ooh.
Right? Because fair enough, yeah, the room with all the stuff with Apu and
Yeah.
Paddy and Selma and that's cool. And the little pre-show room before you actually get into the ride vehicle room, cool. The rest of it is horrendous.
The ramps.
If you get stuck in the outside portion for anything longer than 10 minutes, it just feels like the end of the world is nigh.
But once again, they've got TVs showing Simpsons clips.
I know, but I didn't go to a theme park to sit and watch The Simpsons on the TV. I can do that.
You seem to be changing the rules here because you're allowing yourself this on part of the queue.
Yeah, I am. I can do that.
Well, you can change the rules, but we can't.
How have I changed the rules? I'm still.
I've just said
I'm still. The queue overall is horrendous. So therefore, it is my number 4.
Okay.
Yeah,
It has
he's
good
saying
elements.
The bad doesn't outweigh the good.
Like
That
Darren
does
did.
outweigh the good.
Yeah, like Darren
Yeah,
did with
yeah,
Gringotts. He said it has good elements, but overall, Darren does not like the queue. You can have a queue that has elements you like, but overall is horrendous. The Simpsons is awful.
I've just changed my mind to number 5.
You can't.
If we were just rating on individual sections of queue, the greenhouse queue is the worst thing.
Agreed.
Just period.
But there's enough good in that queue to outweigh
Yeah.
the greenhouse section.
Yeah,
So anyway, Simpsons.
by
Yeah.
far.
Like, let's be honest, that Simpson, the sort of the pre-show is awesome, as is the room that you stood in with all the stuff going on around you. Just the rest of it for me just negates that because it's just awful. The rest of it.
All right.
It's you,
I will
dear.
go back to the original lineup. Right. I'll get ready to duck. Dragon Challenge.
Okay,
It
Oh.
is so long.
it's not as long as it
Yeah.
was.
No, I know, but if they open those extended areas, it's so long.
Yeah,
It
Right?
is.
And, okay, you've got a few things to glance at. You go through the tent, but you've come out of bright sunshine, so it's so dark in there you can't see anything.
yeah, and I know there's very interesting tapestries in
Yeah.
that room. Apparently,
And you're also in a hurry to get to the ride, which is 14 miles away. As the owl flies.
as the owl flies, I like it.
Yes. So you run through the interesting bits because you've got a marathon to sprint before you get to the ride.
I'm made worse by the metal detectors now as well.
The metal detectors that you can actually go down the sides of.
No, because there's team members there.
Well, no, but they were just stuck in the middle.
Yeah.
And it was like, let me go through with my sunglasses on. Have you got anything metal on? Well, yeah, my sunglasses.
They should have made them dark magic detectors or something.
Yeah. So yeah, Dragon Challenge queue for me.
Okie dokie.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Darren,
Hunter's changing the rules already because it should have been Hunter now. Go on, Darren.
oh wait, yeah. Sorry, Darren. Okay. So this one, I love the ride, but kind of what you were talking about, Tracy, with Dragon Challenge being so god awfully long,
Mm-hmm.
and it very, very rarely gets anywhere close to needing that much queue space anymore. I'm going to put in my vote for the Popeye queue for
Yeah.
bilge wrap barges. The reason being is there's some cute theming in there, sure, but it's severely outweighed by how long that queue actually is. And it doesn't seem like there's a lot of sections that team members can pull out of that queue to make the wait shorter. You've literally got to walk almost the entire thing to get to the ride.
Yep.
So that's the reason it cracked mine. The reason it's not a little bit higher is because in the past, they have actually used that queue as a location for Halloween Horror Nights mazes. And I think that's pretty cool. And I want to see how they do that. But yeah, Popeye number 4.
Okie dokie.
Mm-hmm. All right, and my number 4 is Terminator 2 3D.
Ooh.
That was my number 5 originally, so I feel a bit better now. Okay.
Well, we're going to get back to T2.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about if you happen to get to that show a little bit early and you want to sit in the air conditioning, well, you're going to sit in the worst, most blank 90s
Yep.
like hell that you can imagine.
Darren, you've got my notes.
Yeah.
I'm turning my video off.
It reminds me of like a Six Flags queue. It's just an empty stable you're waiting in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The aircon is
definitely.
the only thing that's going for it.
Yeah, and I can remember like actually waiting in that queue, not too long after it opened, like on my first visits there, and it was just awful.
Yeah,
because you'd wait for an entire show to go through, so you wouldn't move for a very long time, and then you'd move a little bit, and you'd think that you're going to be getting in the next show, but no, you have 2 more times or so before you actually get in. So.
And then,
thankfully, the capacity is pretty good.
Yeah.
But that to me, that capacity is a problem for me because you get into that pre-show area and there's too many people. And you're all standing up and it's stuffy and it's claustrophobic and you've stood for so long already that your back's aching. This is why it was going to be my number 5, but I thought I'd get rotten eggs thrown at me, so I changed it to Woody Woodpecker.
And I believe we all agreed a couple of shows back, it is the worst pre-show on property, right?
No.
No? Okay.
I wouldn't say it's the worst pre-show.
No.
Especially after they changed it.
I still think it's awful.
Now there's not the screen burn. It's a lot better.
It will always stand above a lot of pre-shows for me because it has a live team member as part of it.
It's no Muppet Vision 3D.
I'm thinking of changing mine. No.
I thought you were going to say you're thinking of divorcing me and stop being friends with Darren.
Oh, no, you're not.
Well, I'm still in the picture, so I'm okay.
Yeah, but you haven't said your number 4 yet.
Mine are locked in. They're not changing.
I said my number 4. It was Popeye.
Yeah. Oh, you did, of course, yeah.
Which is opened
my
up
bad.
one that I'd forgotten about on my list. And I don't know
Are you
whether
going
to
to say
drop one
Dudley
out.
Do Right?
Don't spoil it. I'm not going to do it now.
The worst queue is Toon Lagoon because you're pretty much just waiting to get out of that land.
I like Toon Lagoon. Can I just jump in before we move on to the next one? Matthew Tucker, one of our producers, has just posted it in the Producers Club Facebook page. This will make you laugh. Trying out the Kong Dong. The team member was not happy when I called it that, but I did make sure to record it. That thing is a beast, by the way. It's huge.
Oh, right.
No, seriously,
About the hot
it's
dog?
massive.
Yeah, like the size of my forearm, no lie.
It's huge. I
Well,
understand
that's
why it's called
we're
the
in
Kong Dong.
nomenclature now. Let's.
It is massive.
I've just thought of the worst queue ever. The toilets when you're desperate.
Yes, anyway. I don't know whether to change my number 3 or
No,
not.
I don't
now.
think you should now.
Tell you the worst queue is a circle.
So I'm now going on record as saying my number 5 was Terminator 3D, seeing as Darren was brave.
I've got an honourable mention then. If you're not going to let me change my list, I have an honourable mention at the end.
Okay. Well, let's go.
All right. Well, let's carry on.
My number 3, I have a little higher than Tracy, is Dragon Challenge. But for slightly different reasons. Yes, it is one of the longest queues on property. And
It's as long as Darren's forearm.
Dragon Challenge queue, as long as the hashtag hot what is it, Kong Dong? I couldn't need to call hot dog there. The metal detectors haven't helped. They could have done. I mean, the Triwizard Cup's quite cool. Oh, the Goblet of Fire. Sorry, the Goblet of Fire effect's quite cool in there. But
When you're not
and the
running
Ford
past it.
Anglia is quite cool. But
I love the flying dragons. Oh,
Tumbleweed.
flying dragons.
yeah, in the boarding area. If you look up when you're
Oh, yeah.
boarding, they have dragons flying over you.
Really, I've not even noticed that.
Yeah, it's like silhouette. You're in the tent, and the dragons are flying over and breathing fire. It's pretty cool. It's the reason Dragon Challenge avoided my queue list here.
Okay. The reason I put it at number 3 is more because of what it was and what it's become. Because arguably, if we were talking about Dueling Dragons, if Dueling Dragons was as it still was, when we did our top 5 queues, I think it would have been at least in my top 3, if not my top 2. But it's a shadow of its former self.
Yeah.
They took out, I mean, let's be honest, it doesn't need a long queue either, because that thing's never beyond, even at peak times, it's not beyond half an hour.
No, true.
Which is such a shame, because if it was running as it should be, it's one of the best coasters I've ever been on. But as it stands now, it barely warrants a wait, and it's such a shame. So it is such a long queue that, as I said, you're just running through it just to get to the ride. At least they kept I'd say one of the elements I do like about it is the cut through. So if you've been on one, you don't have to go all the way back to the front and re-queue again.
Actually, lately that's been blocked.
Really?
And I think that's because it's after the metal detectors.
Right.
So the last couple times I've been, that's actually been chained off.
But that doesn't make sense, because if you're going through to re-ride, you've already been through the metal detectors once.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
I just know it's been chained off.
Yeah, odd. But yeah, that's why. My number 3.
All right.
Tracy?
Lee's going to divorce me. My number 3
Don't you dare say Forbidden Journey.
is Poseidon's Fury.
What? No, the queue's terrible.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh.
Todd
Hot
Eltroff
as
might
hell,
divorce
too.
you.
Sorry, broke off. It's stuffy.
Yeah.
It when there's lots of people in there, it's overcrowded. You can't breathe
Yep.
because it's dark, it's dank, it's horrible. There's nowhere to sit.
There's nothing to
There's
see.
nothing to see. There's
It's kind of like being inside of a Hot Pocket.
yeah.
Hot pocket.
It's just
Very true.
it saps all your energy
Yeah.
out. You know, they could have easily recessed little benches into it. They could have had murals on the walls with like watery, twinkly effects, like light effects over
Yeah,
it.
it is awful.
You know, and they could have done so much with it, and it's just Barney's Echo Tunnel.
Let me save you an ear bashing. Todd, the queue starts once you enter the building.
Oh yeah,
Not
outside's
once
beautiful.
you walk up to the beginning. That is the facade.
Yeah, but even if you are enjoying the outside portion, at the times, very rarely, well, never anymore, but very rarely when you used to have to wait outside, you were in the direct sunlight for the entire time,
This is true.
too. So that kind of takes some points off.
Yeah, no,
So yeah, Poseidon's
I
Fury.
agree. Yeah, it's terrible. Like we did that the first time we did that ride, attraction, whatever you want to call it, was at midnight during Halloween Horror Nights 20. Wasn't 20, was it 14? So it was still humid as hell at midnight, and it was awful.
So we go inside.
It's the only
into a-
time we could ride it, though.
I know, but we could have been riding Hulk in the dark.
Darren, explain to me why at Halloween Horror Nights 14, Poseidon's Fury was closed during the day but open for Halloween Horror Nights.
I don't know. Probably just casting, I'm guessing.
I never considered that.
Probably
Uh,
just not having enough people to go all day.
That makes sense.
I think that's our next show, ladies and gentlemen, is top 5 facades.
Actually, it will be coming at some point. That's one that I think could be quite interesting. I thought you were going to go down the casting route.
Oh, also from the last show, just real quick, I'm not sure if you guys saw it, but we're supposed to do top 5 hot dogs as well.
Okay.
The Kong Dong's number 1.
All right.
It's as big as the Poseidon Fury queue and as big as Darren's forearm.
Right.
So, I'm not going to go that far up from you guys.
Ooh.
The Hogwarts Express in Hogsmeade. it's awful. To be honest,
Yeah.
it's terrible. For as much theming and interactive elements are actually in the land of Hogsmeade and in all the other Harry Potter stuff, you think they could do a lot more with the Hogwarts Express in Hogsmeade. Especially after you see how cool the King's Cross station actually is. It's boring. All you're doing is waiting in switchbacks and going down a hill and looking at trees and then climbing upstairs.
Forever.
So, you know,
And ever. And ever. And ever.
yeah. Every other queue, at least there's something for you to look at. Here, you're just, okay, when are we going to get to the Hogwarts Express? Because that's literally all there is to do there.
The first time we did the Hogwarts Express from Islands of Adventure to Diagon Alley was with Darren and Nina, and as we walked up to the entrance of it, Darren was like, welcome to the longest queue at Universal Orlando.
Yep.
To be fair, it's a lot like our railway stations.
Yeah.
Concrete and metal railings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, these should have put, I don't know what you do, put that audio animatronic buckbeak outside right before you get inside the boarding area or something. Give us something to look at.
Especially since it is a magical, Hogsmeade's a magical village.
Yeah.
You don't need to hide it from Muggle eyes.
Now, there's some really cool little effects, like the Thestral carriage after you get off of the Hogsmeade side.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Little things like that I really like. But the boarding and the waiting to get to Diagon Alley, or King's Cross, rather, it's awful. There's got to be something else they can do to improve that.
But then they don't. Why spend money on it when you do? That's obviously their idea behind it, is why spend money on it? People are going to do the ride anyway.
Maybe they want to bore you so you think the actual train ride itself is even more amazing.
Maybe.
Yeah, well, I don't... put a Florian Fortescue ice cream stand in there. Give me something to do.
Yeah, because
even if
there's
my
not
wallets
even
won't
a
appreciate
Wouldn't
it.
be
Yeah,
able
there's
to
not
try to
even
eat at the train.
Yes, you can.
Can you?
Yes.
Magical
there's-
air conditioning would be nice.
Yeah, because there's not even like a snack. There is like a snack section halfway through the King's Cross station, isn't there? But there isn't on the other side.
Ladies with the trolleys selling pumpkin pasties and chocolate frogs and things. You like on the train itself. Have it
Or
on the
put a
platform.
conductor out there to interact with people. I don't know. Put a conductor out. Potato Story Midway Mania.
An animatronic conductor.
Pardon?
Yeah,
An
something.
animatronic
I mean, you can
hunter.
do it with
Because
the
a
witch,
re-
apparently.
Yeah, well, because with a real conductor, he's just going to be fielding complaints the whole time. That will not be a good idea.
True.
Why am I waiting this long? Well, the Hogwarts Express was built in 1864.
Yeah, no, I understand that one.
All right, Darren.
Yeah, this one, it's kind of funny because I was going between Tracy and Hunter's selections here for number 3.
Yeah.
It's going back and forth between Poseidon's Fury and the Hogsmeade Hogwarts Express entrance, and I went with Hogsmeade as well. It is just a terrible, miserable place to be, and there's not enough airflow in the main major queuing area, where you're at most of the time after walking miles of paths through their little, very sparse forest, and it's just it's not great.
No.
Oh, yeah, I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, weird sparse forest as well. I'd
Yep.
forgotten about that.
I'm sure we'll discuss some other things a bit more when we do our honourable mentions at the end, but let's leave that for now. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, it never actually... Something else popped into my head before I got to Hogsmeade. I never really considered it, if I'm honest.
I kind of forgot about it, to be honest.
All right. Well, here we are, number 2. Well, you know what? I think we're going to take a break first. Because we just waited in the Hogwarts Express queue. So we'll be right back after these messages.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 8th wonder of the world is returning to Universal Orlando Resort. So let our friends at Fairy Godmother Travel take care of the resort reservation. They are a Universal Parks and Resorts specialist, as well as being an authorised Disney vacation planner, and their service is free to you. From the awesome Cabana Bay Hotel to those other hotels run by a mouse, Fairy Godmother Travel can book all your Orlando vacation needs, so you don't need to miss the chance to see the amazing King Kong in the flesh. And please make sure to let them know that you heard about Fairy Godmother Travel because of UUOP. Because every UUOP referral helps us to continue to bring you the greatest Universal coverage. Contact them today by phone at 832-284-4002 or toll free at 888-939-642539 or go to fairygodmothertravel.com.
Let Fairy Godmother Travel make your next vacation magical.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming.
Welcome back, everybody. We're still in the Hogwarts Express queue, so we're going to go on into our number 2 for the worst queues at Universal Orlando.
My number 2 resides in Universal Studios, Florida, and is one of the first attractions you will come across inside that park.
Mm-hmm.
It's Shrek.
It is Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket.
Ooh.
I'm sure that everybody who listens to our show regularly will have expected all 4 of us to put this at their number 1. And as I said before we started recording this, I have a few surprises for people. I think it is a terrible queue. For me, there is a worse one. And I'm sorry, Tracy, but it's going to upset you.
Oh, it's probably one that it's in my honorable mentions.
But
Oh, I know what it is.
Yeah, I do, and he's getting divorced.
yeah, it's awful. There's nothing to do. That queue video is horrendous over and over and over and over again. Nobody needs to hear Asta all the time. I have been stuck in that queue for an hour and a half before, and it's awful. But I think there's a worse experience than that.
Q is for quad.
That's my number 2. Sorry.
You're a number
Right.
2.
I don't need to say anything more about it
No.
because I'm sure everyone else is going to have it
Yeah.
at least in their top 2.
My number 2?
I don't know.
Dudley Do-Right rips off all.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh.
Another long queue in the blazing sun.
Well,
Well,
the outside,
when you're outside, you're in the blazing sun, occasionally get dribbled on,
Yeah.
and there's nothing to see apart from fake rocks and the odd shrub.
It's
And
dirty.
it's filthy.
Because of the water. Yeah.
it's filthy.
Are we
Football-
describing England right now, or are we talking about a queue?
I'm wounded.
Rocks and shrubs and...
Dirt.
Constantly get
Dirt.
dribbled on.
When you get inside, it's shabby.
Yeah.
It's not finished. Again, it's another stuffy one.
And the only
It's
thry to
just-
amuse
it's
you are
dingy.
those 2 animatronic heads, which...
Yeah, but they're miles in. To be honest, by the time you get inside, you're brain dead anyway, so you're not even in the mood to take in all of that. When you've been queuing from outside, you've still got a hell of a way to go. You know, I'm not saying that I love the ride,
Yeah.
but seriously, it's not worth queuing any more than, I don't know, half an
10
hour
minutes.
for.
We've done it 45 minutes. Darren, have you ever
Yeah,
done
that
it?
was awful.
Mm-hmm.
You have?
Yep, it's terrible.
Real quick, let me jump in, because we're probably never going to do this. If we had to do top 5 worst ride vehicles at Universal, Dudley Do-Right Rips Off Halls is number 1. It's
See, I
awful.
don't think it's that
Yeah.
bad.
It's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad.
I think it's because I'm short.
Exactly. You're not an
Yeah.
ogre. Like me and Hunter.
Aaron and I take up a whole log. It's great.
Yeah.
The log
Well,
is the
the-
size of Darren's forearm.
This is going to become a hashtag, isn't it?
The long dong.
The log dong.
The Kong log. Whatever.
Oh, no,
I'm just trying to get some hashtags for Kenny this week.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm intrigued now. See what everyone else has
Oh,
got.
it is a big one.
I told you it's huge.
Oh, wow. Okay. Number 2 for me is Terminator 2 3D.
Right.
It's everything that Darren just said. It's one of the worst queues, I think, of any theme park attraction. The attraction itself is pretty cool. I still think it's one of the worst pre-shows, but even without that, the queue is just a boring concrete wall. And you're sitting there and you're listening to the same looping audio over and over and over. Thankfully, I've never had to wait in that queue for
Yeah.
more than, I'd probably say, about 15 minutes. But I definitely think something needs to be done, or Universal's probably not going to put any more money in it because I don't see T2 lasting another 5 years.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm going to drop a rumor while we're talking about it, and I never mentioned it on last week's show, but sadly I'm hearing, and Darren, this is going to cripple you, I'm hearing rumors that we are going to be getting the Walking Dead walkthrough attraction that is at Hollywood, and the big rumor surrounding the place where it will go is the Terminator 2 3D building.
I'd rather have that because we all know it's coming. I would rather have that than it take over Men in Black, to be perfectly honest.
Agreed.
Well,
Yeah.
the gift shop is already 90% Walking Dead anyways.
Very
so-
true.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, it's funny that you bring that up just real quick because every time Universal puts money into a project, they're not only putting money into that project to come to Orlando or to
Yes.
California, they are also putting research and development to that coming to another park, whether that's Orlando or Tokyo. So we're getting The Walking Dead. Hollywood is definitely getting Diagon Alley. And that's just kind of how Universal works.
Yeah, which you can understand.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If you're asking where Diagon Alley is going, it's going at the War of the Worlds set, and you guys are going to get the Hogwarts Express too. Enjoy.
This is the Universal Orlando podcast.
I know. I just want people to know.
I know.
I'm kind of salty about it
Well,
personally.
they're ripping out a lot of sound stages, aren't they?
Yeah, well, they're relocating everything.
Right.
I was kind of disappointed by the Walking Dead attraction, honestly.
I haven't watched
that's
the
neither here
walkthrough,
nor
to be
there.
honest. Yeah. Cool. Right. Whose go is it now, Darren?
Mine. My number 2 is Rip Ride Rocket.
Oh.
I don't. Yeah. Once we get to this point, then it's like we've all already said all the stuff about it. So.
I am surprised, Darren.
Was that?
I am surprised that you've got
you
it at
won't be
number
when you
2.
hear what number 1 is.
My brain.
But yeah, no, it's awful. As we all know, Rip Ride Rocket is terrible.
What's the longest you've ever queued in it, Darren?
The funny enough, the longest I've ever queued was in the express line because it went down. So I think we were in there for like 45 minutes to an hour. So yeah, and the express line might even be worse than the regular queue, even though I guess they're both equally bad. But it's just the express line is just a switch back and then stairs.
Yeah, you would have thought they could have done. I don't. Again, what we need to do is an armchair Imagineering episode at some point of how to make these queues that we've said are terrible better. That could be an interesting one, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Number 1. Is everyone ready?
Just out of curiosity,
Yeah.
Tracy, what do you think my number 1 is?
I think it's a High in the Sky Zeus trolley train ride.
Hunter, you seem to think you know what my number 1 is. What do you think my number 1 is?
I'm with Tracy as well.
Darren, any ideas?
Well, since you said it made Tracy mad, it's got to be something in Seuss. Since either that or Cat in the Hat. So I guess I'll go with Cat in the Hat.
Because Cat in the Hat's an awesome.
It's not. It's the terrible queue, but my number 1
This trolley's awful, though.
High in the Sky Zeus trolley train ride. It is a horrendous queue, right?
I discussed this one as well with Nina. Yeah.
When they're only running one train, you are stuck in that queue, even with a short line, forever, and it is awful.
But you're not getting Asta shouted at you all the
I
time.
don't care. There's blong, bing, blong, bing, bing, bing,
At least the
bing,
concrete's
bing,
brightly.
bing.
You look like Craig
It's
Lucas there.
awful. It's awful. Oh, Jesus.
At least
there's
the concrete's coloured.
no air conditioning. It's dirty. It's in desperate need of some upkeep. The sea of humanity that goes through that. It's awful. It's awful. It's so oppressive.
But Sylvester Monkey
The ride is awesome,
on-off machine.
but it's such a slow loader
love the
that you're
ride.
stuck in it forever. It's
Yeah.
like Pteranodon Flyers. Even with
Yeah.
15 people in the line in front of you, you'll still be waiting 20 to
hours.
25 minutes.
That ride would have been better served if it was a something more along the lines of the TTC.
Yeah, just a constant loader.
Yeah. Definitely.
But yeah, I just think it's awful. Obviously, when we started talking about doing our top 5 worst queues, you immediately think Rip Ride Rocket because we rip it on the show every week at how bad that queue is. But when I actually dug down into it, I hate being in this one more.
I know, because you moan
Because it's
the
awful.
whole time. You make me sad
Well, I'm sorry, but
when I'm there pimping my tattoo out.
yeah, that's all. Because that's what you get out of it.
Yeah.
I have to
You
sit
get
there.
your
I
moments.
don't get my
In 2
moments.
places.
No, I don't.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, that's my number one.
Tracy?
Rip Ride Rocket. For everything I've said over the years.
At least one of us had it there.
Concrete, boring. I hear, Asta, one more time, I'm going to punch the screen.
I need that as a sound bite on
No,
my
you
phone.
don't, because I'm going to punch you anyway for
I need
upsetting
Hunter
me.
saying it.
Yeah.
Asta!
I don't think I need to say any more.
No.
No, it's all been said.
Very clear.
Well, there's not really much more for me to add on to it. Rip Ride Rocket. I think it's just easily the worst queue on property. I'm sad I forgot to mention High in the Sky now. But Rip Ride Rocket, it's listening to some of the worst music over and over, and then just some of the most annoying, uninspired characters I think the park has ever put in anything. Yeah. It's just awful. I don't find any redeemable aspect in it. Even the coaster kind of sucks. I know that's debatable on this show.
No, I like the coaster, but it's just the whole the attraction as a whole feels like a Six Flags attraction.
Mm-hmm.
It was a rushed attraction. It was never is. I mean, I'm pretty sure if we did a top 5 biggest disappointment as far as attractions, Rip Ride Rocket would be at the top of pretty much everybody's list. Just really bad. And that's about all I can say on it.
Mm-hmm. And my number 1 is Dudley Do-Right's Ripsaw Falls.
Ooh!
Just kidding. It's Forbidden Journey. No.
Sorry, bye, Darren.
Arena Kong.
yeah, Kong, worst queue ever. Not. Yeah, it is Dudley Do-Right's Ripsaw Falls. That is the worst experience I've ever had in a queue, and then the ride was terrible as well. But the queue is... Okay, so you walk through the part where you're walking under the actual slide portions where water's dripping on you.
Yep.
Which, that's fun.
Filthy water.
Yeah. And then you get to the inside portion, which is, extremely claustrophobic. And they have that stairway where you have to go down.
Yeah. Like the slanted walkway.
Well, it's not.
Thing.
Yeah, it's not stairs. It's like platforms going down. But just it's like such a narrow, weird corridor, and I really feel like they have heat lamps in there.
Right.
Like the lights are red. They have like a reddish tint to them, which automatically makes you think heat lamp, and which automatically I think makes everybody angry. It's like one of like those natural human reactions to seeing red light.
Like a red rag to a bull.
Yeah, and everything that Tracy said before, it's just like it's like moldy, mildewy, musty feeling in there.
Yeah,
and like you said, it's unfinished. It's just it's disgusting. And having been a big fan of Universal for a long time before ever stepping foot on that ride, I think it made it even more shocking to me that like this actually exists. At Universal.
I don't mind the attraction. I think that space could be used for something a hell of a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a shame. Obviously they rushed it to get it open. It's a shame they never went back and finished it.
Yeah. It is. Yeah, it's a mess though. It's really bad. And yeah, I think it merits number 1. At least you're not getting like you're not having like stagnant water dripping on you in Rip Ride Rocket. That's what put it over the edge for me.
Yeah.
And like I said, that one corridor where it's just like the platforms leading down, like seemingly to hell.
Yeah.
Temperature wise and everything, and just how narrow everything is. It's gross.
It's funny when Tracy mentioned Popeye and Bluto. Was it you? Did you have Popeye and Bluto? Was that Hunter?
Hunter.
I think it was Hunter.
I did consider it.
When I'd forgotten when I did my list actually that I was originally going to have Dudley Do-Right's Ripsaw Falls in there, so I'm going to put it down as one of my honourable mentions. It is awful. Like I say, we've queued in it for I think 3/4 of an hour is the longest we've done. Even just walking through it when it's quiet, just that whole outside portion to get to the inside bit it feels like it takes an hour. It's like,
week.
I feel like bloody Frodo going to Mount Doom to take the ring to drop it in it in Mount Doom to get rid of it going through that queue.
Do you know what? I think it's actually longer than Dragon Challenge.
It's such a it's an awkward thing, is it? Because with water rides, you're always going to get that smell, and there's that mildew, and just
Run a
the
mop
rust
over
and all that.
the interior every now and again. That's all it'll take.
And it wouldn't.
Bloody get
I
cleaned.
don't
Hose
know.
it down.
I think surely Toon Lagoon as a whole's got to be one of the next areas to go. You know, everyone talks about Lost Continent being one of the next ones to go. It's got to be Toon Lagoon at this point.
When you
and
look at
let me also just say real quick, I think it's really crappy that they make you pay for the lockers there.
Yeah.
Agreed.
That's the only place in the whole park where you have to, and because they know like you don't want to bring any of your stuff on there.
River Adventure as well.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying like the water rides.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because we were talking about, because we went down to Alton Towers the other weekend. I didn't see lockers anywhere. You went to ride a ride, you put your bag in a cubby hole at the other side, and then you picked it up on the way out. And it was such a pleasant thing to have to deal with.
It was simple.
You could take your stuff on the ride with you if you needed. You know, I went on with my phone in my pocket, my wallet in my pocket, keys, a jacket on with my car keys in the pocket. You know,
That's
there was
how Busch Gardens does it here
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, Busch Gardens has a really ingenious system set up on some of the rides too. I believe it's Montu, or it might even be as old as Kumba, where they can only possibly be running two coasters at once. So what they do is they have these it's like two rows of boxes, and they just have like a big lever on one side, and when they pull it down, it closes and covers the other lockers.
That's what Galactica was like.
So the person that gets off the coaster in the meantime, while you're riding, doesn't have access to yours at all. It's just completely blocked off.
That's what we found in at least one of the rides in Alton Towers, which I was impressed by.
Yeah.
Now, something like that doesn't work for, an attraction like Forbidden Journey or something, but there's got to be a better way to do the locker situation for a lot of these attractions.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, if we were doing top 5 worst things at Universal Orlando, the lockers would be number 1 for me.
Yeah.
They are awful.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody got any other honourable mentions?
Honourable mentions, E.T.
What?
You're outside on more concrete.
That's not really the queue. The queue's the
I count the queue
That's
as
queue. If you're
interior
stood
portion.
waiting,
fair enough.
you're queuing. Thank you. Got a dictionary.
Yeah.
The best bit about going inside is giving false names for E.T. to say at the end. What's your name? Fanny. Didn't
can't-
bat an eyelid.
Dick.
Jade was
What's your
digging
name?
up the floor.
Harry. What's your name? Pitt.
Wow.
We just do Lee and Tracy every time.
I know we saw it. I know Nina videoed it a while back.
Yeah.
I like parts of E.T.
The end.
I dislike parts of E.T. We all know this. I will agree with you on the High in the Sky Zeus trolley train ride.
horrible.
I considered that.
That one is really bad.
So you guys all went down the route of Hogsmeade. I actually think King's Cross is just as bad. Yes, it's very well themed.
You've also got a little
but
snack
that
shop
takes it-
halfway
just being
through.
well
And
takes it out of the running for me.
Yeah. But just well themed doesn't take it out from being an awful queue to stand in.
Yeah.
but there's worse ones.
It's themed to a railway station queue. That doesn't make it a good queue.
It's better than most railway station queues I've been.
Well, it is, but
Yeah. My honorable mentions are honorable mentions because they don't exist anymore. But the old Hulk queue
yeah.
was really bad. And it's just, there's no air conditioning in there. It was super hot unless you got in like one spot where a fan was blowing on you in that entire queue, I think. And the other two, of course, because they're not there anymore. Twister, that was terrible outside.
Yeah.
The outside portion. And Disaster
Yeah.
as well. Just a bunch of nothing. At least Disaster had some standees though that you could kind of look at from afar.
If we're going down that route, then I suppose I have to throw Back to the Future in there because it's pretty much the same queue as The Simpsons. Sorry, Darren.
No.
It was a little bit more geared and appropriate to the ride, I think, personally, but yeah.
You might as well go for the triptych and upset Hunter as well.
Going for which one?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of something you would love that I would think was garbage.
Because me and Darren don't love you anymore.
Oh, I know.
I've known that for a long time.
The one, I guess, if you guys want to do honorable mentions, probably River Adventure, because it has so much potential, and so there's just switchback after switchback.
Yeah.
I ruled that one out because it's so lush and green. It's actually quite relaxing.
Yeah, but it's boring.
No, but I know that's nice. It's one of those you can actually relax in it because it's
just
green.
not as lush and green as Colorado, and that's the reason.
I wouldn't know. I've never been.
You know, I think it's really cool that they got people like Richard Attenborough to come back and film stuff, particularly for the ride, even if it was technically for Hollywood. The Jurassic Park franchise means a lot to me, as silly as that sounds, and I just wish there's more they could do with it.
There was a lot that they could have put in a queue for that.
Yeah.
I think the Triceratops encounter had a much more impressive queue, even though, it was just mainly a walkthrough thing. But
why not merge the two?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, or
walk through that and then cut through. And
I hope if we ever get Halloween Horror Nights back in Islands of Adventure, they take those Velociraptor costumes and they hide them in the River Adventure queue and they pop out at people. I think that'd be pretty righteous.
Yeah, that'd be all right.
I'm trying to think of some more now that we could possibly throw in. I agree with Hunter, yours. A Popeye and Bluto. It is a game, one of those that's dead long, and
I couldn't remember what it was like, to be honest.
It's all wooden. Yeah, it's just terrible.
How about we do top 5 queues that would benefit from having a scare actor?
All of them.
Despicable Me. Get out of my house!
Well, apparently those scare actors are still in full effect.
Which is great.
It is. I just hope they continue to do it.
You see, there's an anomaly.
Apparently they're not in full effect at the Walking Dead experience.
Well, they're dead.
Despicable Me. Where the queue's better than the ride.
Yeah, I'll agree with that one. There's an interesting one. The top 5 queues that are better than the ride itself.
Number 1.
Well, I think I told Darren about this once. I was like, imagine your favorite theme park ride, and if every ride you ever loved ended like Jurassic Park River Adventure. So you're on the Haunted Mansion, you fall out of the attic, and then you go down a giant drop.
Yeah, that would be cool.
'Cause why not? High in the Sky Seuss trolley.
Yeah.
Do. Hey, he got his star, and now I'm dead.
The entire floor of the
Yeah.
of the theater
The
falls
T-Rex
out.
actually just bursts through the roof. Yeah.
Huge drop.
And they do it on
So
T2.
Emmett Step is like, your souls are mine, and then the T-Rex bursts through and he grabs you. I'm telling you, Universal needs to capitalize on this.
Mm-hmm.
Jurassic Park nights.
Trying to think now if there's any other ones that are terrible.
Can't remember what the hippogriff
line
was like. That was probably bad.
I don't want to start a flame war, but I just don't think a lot of Universal's queues are on the level of some other queues that we've seen. I mean, even comparison. So you guys just went to Alden Towers.
Yep.
Yeah.
How are the queues there in comparison to a lot of the Universal queues?
Boring.
Terrible.
Worse.
Yeah.
We
They're
don't
like
do
Six Flags
things
queues,
like
right?
that.
Yeah,
here.
very much. They're
Yeah.
just a queue. Like the Smiler.
Six Flags.
The one that stuck out for me, thinking back on it now, was the Smiler. But
Cage
only
switchback.
because it was really well disguised that it looked like you were closer to the entrance of the ride than you were by a long way.
It was like a rat run,
You
wasn't
know when you go into the greenhouse in Forbidden Journey and you think, oh, the entrance into the castle's just there. And then you get up that bank and it goes back and forwards, back and forwards, back and forwards, back and forwards. And then you go in. It was like that. But it's like a cage. But it reminded me of, and I think I said this to you, Darren, when I was talking to you the other day about it, didn't I? That it felt like a Halloween Horror Nights maze.
Yes, you said that to me as well.
Isn't Saw at Alden Towers?
No, it's at Thorpe Park,
Oh.
which is somewhere we are considering going at some point this year.
They're both owned by Merlin, right?
Yes. Yeah, but the queues there, I've no. The only one I would say that has any sort of themed queue would be 13, and it's very loose. The ride itself has a really good theme. The problem is no one knows what it is because it's not
I had
really
to think
told
about
to
that.
you.
Really, it's only a bit of graffiti on the wall and a
Maybe going
lighting
through like the
box.
woods and there's that derelict truck thing there, but it's just the overarching story of it isn't told to you. It has a theme. What it is, no one really knows. And that's what a lot of them are like. They have a theme, but it's not portrayed to the guest as such. If you know it, you know it. If you don't, you don't. And that seems to be the difference from a Disney park or a Universal park or somewhere like this, that they try and tell a story and it's at least to a certain extent showed to the guest as they go through, whereas where you're trying to kind of, like, I don't really know what the Smiler is about. It does have a theme, and it's kind of you going through this whatever, I don't really understand, but anyway.
It's because I think everybody in Britain's a miserable sod, so they want you to smile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just shrubs and rocks and not being the United States, so...
Yeah. So there we go.
Yeah.
So we split 3 ways. What did we get? 2 Rip Ride rockets, a Dudley Do Right, and a High in the Sky Zeus trolley train ride.
A divorce.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I'm happy with our list.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, all right then. Well, I guess that wraps up episode 204 of the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. For myself, for Darren, for Lee, for Tracy. And I think that's everybody on this week. Yeah. All right. So for all those folks, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next week. Bye. That's it for another Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Make sure you never miss a show by subscribing on iTunes, and while you're there, please leave us a rating and a review. Listen to us on Stitcher, Google Play, and all your podcast apps. Email us with any questions or comments to podcast@uuopodcast.com, or even better, record your message at speakpipe.com/uuopodcast. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Pinterest, keyword UUO Podcast. Check out our blog for even more content at uuopodcast.com. And finally, our sponsors, Fairy Godmother Travel, are here to help with all your Universal vacation needs. So check them out today at fairygodmothertravel.com. Well, that's a wrap. See you next week.